Episode 2, Fight and Talk, and I have got, again, my good friend and Made for the Cage media man.
Yeah, let's go for that. I don't really know what to call it at the minute. I'm doing bits and pieces for them. Like.
Yeah, we've got Ben Holden in here today. So how's it going, Ben?
I'm not bad, to be fair. Busy week with the whole Bama stuff and Made for the Cage announcements, but it's worth it at the minute. And North East MMA stepping up a couple of levels again, so it's good to be a part of it.
Yep, and we have got the Bama cards of imminent now, really, don't we?
Yep.
Thursday for the weigh-ins and then Friday for the fight night. Looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, definitely, mate. We're both going, aren't we? So
yes.
Both got press accreditations, so we're going to be causing some shit.
And if we look back as well, you had Made for the Cage 26
was
ago.
November 25th, yep.
Yeah, if we bring up the card, we can have a little run through. It was a good night. It wasn't
class.
necessarily the most stacked card we've had.
No, definitely not. And I think there was a couple of people latched onto that. I don't know if that fight card's on there, mate.
Well, it's not.
I think it's on...
Shredder?
Go on the Chronicle. Go on your article on the Chronicle.
Plug.
Yeah, but we had no sort of big names with it being the Bama card, and Bellator being so close. But we had Lanchana Green, and she sold a lot of tickets. We had the boys from Emlands, SBG.
Yes.
They sold a lot of tickets. A7MA sold a lot of tickets. So we'll pack the arena out, and there's some big names coming up. I think, actually, bring up Made for the Cage 15 on there, because that show at the time was only considered to be maybe one or two big names on the card at the time, and then when you look back at it now, it's stupid. It's insane the amount of decent fighters top to bottom that was on that card.
15,
so we've got to 15 now. So when's that? 2014. So a couple of years ago. James Mulherron, Damon Lake. That was an unbelievable fight. That was a spinning back fist. Had Arnold Allen on that card. Who else do you have on that card? Let's have a look.
There you go.
You had Steve Watson fighting Chris Dirkles on that card. Adam Proctor's on that card.
Phil DeFries.
Phil DeFries, aye. Yeah, I put that on the other day. I'm doing this Made for the Cage advent thing at the minute, right?
Yeah,
on the Facebook side. And Twitter as well. But the videos are on the Facebook.
Users mention the username. Yeah,
it's Made for the Cage UK on Facebook. And we're doing 24 throwback fights leading up to Christmas, just because I thought dads and the mums out there might not have advent calendars to open, so let's get a bit of violence for in the morning. And I was looking back at this event especially, and there's 5 or 6 great fights on it. It's unbelievable. So that's keeping me content up at the minute. But then you look at Adam Proctor's halfway down the card. Luke Ord's at the bottom there.
Yeah.
Harry Hardwick versus Lewis Garside's unbelievable fight. And then James Hennon, who was Made for the Cage champ, UAR not long ago, lightweight. So I think we might look back on the November card as like this in 3-4 years time. So the likes of your Joe Mail Wards, your Mail Haddis, Davy McLaughlin's, Lanchana Greens, Sophie Langford's, people like that. I think 3 or 4 years time they're going to be the next wave that comes through, and we're going to really establish themselves in this European scene.
Yeah, I know after Joe's fight, Joe Millward's fight as well, went backstage, talked to him, got the interview with him. He has got the makings of potentially being a huge superstar.
Definitely.
Not just UK MMA.
When you look at his first fight, you got
Torben Madsen.
Aye, he was a beast.
Tough fight.
Was he 5-0, 5-2 now, something like that? He's a monster. And Joe went in on nearly knocked him out in the first round. And being just experienced, got Torben through, and he was able to finish him. But no one's taking fights like that in their debuts anymore.
No.
I mean, the lad he fought at 26 was a late replacement, and so he was never going to be as good. He was an independent fighter from Manchester, 0-1 record, same as Joe though. So it was still a fairly even matchup. I know skill wise it probably wasn't, because Joe ended up dominating him. Joe gets the external sort of qualities, like
Yeah.
your likes of Colin Fletcher's and Callum and those. He understands the media obligations that you need to do. He understands the persona that you mean. Coming out with a mask. It's simple as anything, but it's dramatic and it gets people involved. It gets the crowd going.
Yeah, he was so hyped walking out.
Yeah,
it was like a rock star's entrance almost, wasn't it?
It was ridiculous for a
Sarge behind him.
For a 0-1 fighter. I've never seen anything like it. Like in my time, and he's gonna be a top star. Like if he keeps going the way he's going.
Lance Green as well. Obviously, she was on the Ultimate Fighter. That sort of, it's funny because now you look at the record and she's 1-0 and 1, but
that's why you can't look at records, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. And she was so strong on that Ultimate Fighter that she's another one that you could potentially say
well, she's still young,
coaching one of them Ultimate Fighter 100%. Teams 5-10 years down the line.
There was talk of that Bryony Tyrell fight that we did in the early September. That was the best female fight I've ever seen.
Yeah,
especially live. I mean, there was back and forth the whole way. I mean, she
was killing that Bryony as well. And that third round she got mounted, and it was. I know that's what you said to us after the fight, didn't you?
I said after I knew one, I says, "You're not going to do this again in the third round, are you?" Because like I say, she was 2 rounds up, and then she looked like she was going to get dominated in the third round. But it was ridiculous. I just thought it was going to be history repeating itself again. But that Bryony fight, there's still debate about that first round and who won the fight. I personally think Lance won the fight. Not won the fight, sorry. Won the first round. Could be argued a draw. Could be argued that Bryony won the first round, and that's the beauty of MMA, and that's why I think we need to run it back. I really do.
How did you score it?
I had Lance 10-9, 10-9. Bryony 10-8.
10-8. Yeah, same as me then. Yeah.
I think quite a lot of people did, but their camp seemed to disagree. And you can see why if you watch it back. I mean, we tend to do I think we're on the new rules now, which is just effective striking and grappling.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be cage control, octagon control, aggression, things like that. And if you were scoring it the old way, there's no doubt that Bryony won the fight because she had to up against Cage, was trying to take downs relentlessly in the first round. But if you're scoring it this new way, Lance won the striking, especially from the outside, and then stuffed every takedown. So who's effectively grappling? You know what I mean? It's that grey area. And I understand why their camp think that she won the fight, but I think quite a lot of people had it a draw and had it right.
Yeah, I know. At the end of the most recent fight that Lance had, one of the judges, he was at the last bout as well. I caught eyes to him. He literally thought, "Oh, not again." It was.
But I think Lance thought that when we were interviewing afterwards.
Lance
thought, no, this isn't going to happen, but she should clearly learn from her last fight. I mean, this Sylvia Langsford's a top fighter as well.
Yeah.
I mean, she might not be Bryony Tyrell now. Bryony's a beast, but she could be. And so learning from that Tyrell fight and then getting herself back up and getting herself back into the third round so that it wasn't 10-8. I mean, it was just a massive. I think it was probably a mental hurdle that she's overcome. Yeah, definitely. And she let her striking go. She looked much better. She looked so much better.
And now, if we move forward again, then to the BAMA card. Just got it up here on screen. I know the Battle Talk lads aren't on, but you've got Louis Monarch, Phil DeFries.
I haven't really looked at the Battle Talk.
McDonald.
I need to do my research for the Battle Talk one really, because I've been so excited about this BAMA card. I think the BAMA card might be better. I think the BAMA card might be better than the Bellator card.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite the Louis Monarch, who's quality fighter, Phil DeFries, who's big name.
Yeah.
Quality fighter again.
DC's last fight on that M1.
I didn't catch it. I caught I saw his last fight in Made for the Keizo against Thomas Denham. Yeah. And Tom Denham's a good fighter, and he tore him at shreds in his last fight. And that was a rematch because Phil lost to him before, and he just came back and he smoked him so. It is what it is, but if you look at this BAMA card, it's a joke.
I touched on it with Carl. I'm going to ask you about him as well. Aaron Chalmers, should he be where he is?
I don't have a problem with it, personally, because I think I see a bigger picture to what they're trying to do compared to what I understand these lads who are grinding, who are 8-3, who's got impressive records, who are not getting on this card. Yeah. I really do. I understand your gripe, but this is the reason why they're doing this. This is the whole reason why they're doing this.
Aaron, why it's in the northeast.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing it in the northeast because he sells tickets. So that means more sponsorship for other lads who are on the show, which means bigger eyes, which means ITV4 come in for a deal, which means more for them level lads, the 8 and 3 lads who aren't getting the pay that they should be. And I think that's the bigger picture, and I think people are missing that. But should he be where he is based on record? Absolutely not. Of course he shouldn't. Other than the lads he's fought, of course he shouldn't. But he is for a reason, and I think you either embrace that, you either love that reason or you hate that reason, and you understand it, or you just you're mad at it. And I understand both people's opinions from both sides of that. But I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's necessarily brilliant for the sort of...
A good thing for MMA or a good thing for North East MMA?
That's different.
Yeah.
That's a different question. Because for the reputation of MMA, Chalmers being co-main event is probably not... For the die-hard fan, it's probably not brilliant.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But for North East MMA and the attention it's bringing, and the UK MMA, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like this is going out Maidentown Way, no disrespect to them. I mean, they're a big local TV promotion.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't mind us saying that they're not ITV.
But they're not ITV. Yeah, and this is what this lad's bringing, or helping to bring. I don't think it's solely on him either. I think the fact that there's so many good names in and around the UK at the minute. You look at your Ryan Scopes and your Colin Fletchers. We'll get onto them probably in a bit, but the fact that he's sharing a card with them and he and his star appeal seems up there with them, then I can't really fault the fact that he's on there. I really can't. Yeah,
and you've just touched on Scopey there as well. We both know Ryan.
No, Ryan since he was 15 years old. And honestly, that lad's done bouncing down Chesley Street, so this fight should be a breeze for him. Like, so.
Aye, he's coming back off the Louis Long defeat.
Mm-hmm. That's going up tomorrow. That's the mid for the cage. I think tomorrow, because
I think
it's the highest level fight we've ever done.
Yeah,
I think definitely. Ryan's a beast, like, and he was stepping up to welterweight against a lad who was like a massive welterweight. Huge.
But it's the biggest time for Ryan to get his win, get back on that win streak, isn't it?
I think he might get a title shot off this if he wins it.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I mean, 10-1, go to 11-1.
He deserves it.
Yeah, of course he does.
He works so hard, like in the gym and stuff.
He looks ridiculous. He did in his little long fight and he just got caught. But I think actually that might be a good thing for him in the long run, because there's that onus of that undefeated thing off your back.
Yeah. And
I think that's a massive thing for fighters. I think fighters do go in tentative. I mean, you look at George St. Pierre, the run that he was on, and Demetrius Johnson. You look back at that fight that he had against, can't remember the lad's name. Borg, is it?
Ray Borg, yeah.
He was quite tentative in the first few rounds. I mean, it just so happens that he's the best fighter in the world at the minute, and he submitted him with some crazy
suplex armbar
thing, but I mean, no one else is doing it. But he was quite tentative in that fight, and I think that's an onus on your back when you've got something like it's like a parachute, I think, for fighters.
Looking as well on this card, Adam Proctor.
Yeah,
potentially the biggest name, or one of, without doubt, coming out of Northeast MMA at the minute.
One of the best.
Yeah. Hardest fight, easy the hardest fight he's had with Nathan Bagantag Jones.
But if you look at his Cage Warriors fight, I had a word with Ellen this week because I wanted to catch Adam this week and I haven't got around to it yet. And I was talking about the Cage Warriors fight that he lost. That's his only loss on his card so far, and Ellen goes, that was the worst performance of his career, and there was 3 things going wrong leading up to it. I didn't ask what the 3 things were, but he says there was things wrong leading up to it. So if that's the worst performance of his career and he's taking lads at that level to that sort of extent, it's going to be a tough night for Nathan Jones. It really is.
Carl Fletcher as well. Undoubtedly one of the biggest names in the Northeast scene for the past 5, 6, even longer. Again, must be class for him, being able to get out, get on the biggest stage. He's class, isn't he?
If you're looking at sort of, you know, I've got a background in PR and journalism. If you're looking at a lad who can market himself, the bar is Colin Fletcher.
Yeah.
Creating that sort of, if you're looking at lads who have overextended, I mean, Cole's a class fighter. Cole's one of the best fighters to ever come out the region. But if you're looking at a lad who has been given opportunities not only because of his fighting. I mean, he's, like I say, he's a terrific fighter, but because of his personality and that character that he's created.
Yeah.
As well. That I would tell lads like Adam Proctor. I mean, Proctor doesn't care about no spotlight or anything like that. He just doesn't. Hates doing interviews, and everything like that. But if you're looking at lads who, like Conor McGregor created that alter ego. That's not Conor. Definitely not.
No.
Who's up there doing press conferences? I mean, might be to some extent, but it's like a heightened version of that. And if you're looking at lads who are going to take themselves to the next level in terms of promotion, you'd look at Colin Fletcher, 100%.
What weight is this fight at, do you know?
I think it's 155.
Right.
Because I know I thought that because
his last time out with Chris,
it was horrible.
It was horrendous. It
was the worst thing I've watched.
That was, it was something else. Seeing him coming in after the hot baths, after the saunas, and he looked awful.
It was Megan. It was horrible to watch. Genuinely, I watched that Joanna. Have you seen that Joanna documentary this week?
I've not got around to watching it, but I've seen like clips and stuff of it. Like
absolutely vile. And honestly, Colin was like that.
Yeah,
just
like
Colin his lips were dry, couldn't speak. Went to high five him, he's just like slapped at your hand.
Yeah.
You know
It was almost like people weren't there. He was that sort of gone.
There was a problem leading up to that, though. I think.
Yes, there was.
He got something from the chemist that he was hoping would make him sweat. That didn't make him sweat, and it actually dried him up. And he was in a hot bath for an hour, and he only lost 0.2 of a kilo or something like that, which is like scary.
Weight cutting as an issue as a whole. Do you think somebody has to die before the big?
I think it does.
The likes of the UFC
I think that's
look
scary.
and go, we need to get something sorted.
100%. I think it does, because nothing changes things like tragedy. I know it's horrible to say. It's absolutely horrible to say, but nothing will change it until someone dies. And there has been lads who's died from it. You know what I mean? Maybe not directly, but like after fights,
kicked in the head after being dehydrated for like.
But
but not made for a cage, because introducing new weight classes next year.
So we're doing new weight classes for 2018, which is we're going up 10 every. No, we're going a new weight class every £10.
Yeah,
which I think is going to help massively. The way you think it's going to help massively, we don't know yet. We haven't tried it out, and there's no one else on a massive stage who's doing it. So we're going to go 125, 135, 45, 55, 65, which is the new one. 75, which is also a new one. And then just your 85, and then I don't know what your 95 would be, like cruiserweight type of thing. But but then 225 as well. I think we're going to introduce as well.
All right.
Which would be like your gap, which I don't know why the UFC hasn't done yet.
Yeah.
Introduce a cruiserweight division, because there's loads of lads who are too big for light heavyweight, but far too small for heavyweight.
Yeah. Well, they're made for the cage card. Carlton Adams.
Well, he's a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
He's 225. That was 225, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that was 225, and that's perfect for lads like him, who he's going to be a beast, by the way.
Yeah, he's same gym as Joe as well.
Alright, is he ASMI might be as well?
He is.
He's going to be a monster. He came in with a 0-2 record. That's right. He was ASMA because one of the lads was saying that he had them 2 fights before he went to ASMA, and they've sort of knuckled him down, and the kid's got talent, like he really does. He's got a chin of granite as well, like.
Yeah. What else we got on here? Tony Mustard, talking to big lads. Oosh and Darren Towler.
Towler's a beast as well. No, he's been training with Ian Freeman.
And I mean, if you're going to train with the heavyweight, that's what you're going to be training with, isn't it?
I was saying this the other day, right? If you're looking at Northeast MMA and you're looking at like a Mount Rushmore of lads who've like defined eras, Ian Freeman is on Mount Rushmore of Northeast MMA, 100%. Maybe even UK MMA, just because what was he first British UFC fighter?
Yeah,
with Frank Mir. I mean,
it's mental, that, isn't it?
When you look back on it, at the career Frank Mir had, and that lad's living down the road, like, so it's just nuts.
And the genes have been passed on as well now. Kennedy's daughter, she's fighting as well.
Bit of an announcement. She's fighting on our February card. Don't know the particular girl she's fighting. But she's 6-0. The girl she's fighting, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. That's really bad. But Kennedy's 6-1. she's 6-0. I think it might be. I mean, you look at Lanch and Bryony, Lanch and Sophie, but after that, this probably the highest level female fight we've ever had.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it might be the best as well. I think it might be the best fight we've ever had. Kennedy's takes after her dad in terms of promotion and stuff like that. She knows what she's doing. Like, she's a clever girl. And she hits like a Mack truck, like, so she's a beast.
She's also just signed with EFC as well, hasn't she? So she'll be flying out to fight in the South African League. Yeah.
It's class for Ian as well, you know, seeing him put stuff on Facebook about his like daughter and that. Then Shields UFC bound 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. It's that level.
I've never seen Kendi fight like
it's different
live
class. It's different class. The buzz and I mean, she's fought on Ian's shows, so I mean that's a home crowd. But the vibe in the place that comes across in the videos and when I've been there live, I mean it's different to anything else. It really is. She's a special talent, like she really is. In
Made for the Kids, we've got their academy as well. Relatively new in the sort of development when you look at the other gyms around here, but they've got some really good fighters coming out. You've got Ash Harden, who's meant to be there, but unfortunately couldn't make it. His brother, Ash is a real talent when you watch him.
Ash will be the first one to tell you he ain't fought anybody yet.
Yeah,
he hasn't. Worthy of his standard. I mean, Dazzy Marsh was a tough lad. Yeah, that was really tough fight. He lost another fight.
It was on Freeman's show, wasn't it?
Might be. But he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. But if Asher's going to get the level that we think he's going to get to, and you see fighting more and more top fighters, and he will. Yeah. And he'll be the first person to tell you that he really will.
You've got Noam Russell as well, and I think for me, one of, if not the fight of the night from Made for the Cage was him
I put. I know what you're going to say, because that was a good fight. Because Haythwaite dominated it and it was a comeback win. But I had the Harrison Hillier Will Brown fight on the undercard as the fight of the night, because that was just a slugfest. Like, I mean, Will Brown's one of them lads. He's SMA as well, I think.
Yeah, he is. His family was sitting next to us when I was doing the report. It was.
Is that them?
Yeah, that was.
That was funny as hell. That. I mean, if you ever want to see someone go through absolute physical torture, just sit next to Will Brown's mum when you're fighting. Like, but he's a tough lad. I said to you during the fight though.
Yeah.
He's got that Robbie Lawler, Justin Gagey sort of head down swing, that sort of characteristic to him. And if you settled down, he took a couple of steps back, and you were, because his hands are lethal.
Yeah,
his hands are really good. His combinations were good. He was landing. He just seemed to want to slug it out with this lad. And if you took it from the outside and you started picking him off a little bit, I think he probably would have won the fight. But the lad from Doncaster was a beast, like Harrison Hillier. Yeah, he's a good fighter. Really good fighter.
I've just seen another name on this card here. I've still got the.
I don't know much about him.
Lewis King, no?
Do not know much about him, but from what I'm hearing, he's a bit of a monster. Like.
Yeah.
If you look at his record, he's insane.
I'm trying to think which Bama it was. It might be the last Bama card he was on. Let's see if I can find it here. But oh my god, the knockout was
that was him, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting Fabian Edwards, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's a tough fight.
Big fight. That's
Fabian Edwards is a beast. He's training with Chalmers down in Birmingham.
The UTC.
Yep.
Ultimate Training Centre. Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's how he got on the card, but this kid's a monster as well. Like, and if Chalmers is training with this lad, the level of this lad, then I think people are underestimating Chalmers.
Even down to that though, credit to Chalmers for. Of course, he's got this Geordie Shore whole persona going on, but for him to,
I don't think that's necessarily persona. I think that's who he is.
What, that party?
Yeah. I don't think he shies away from it either. I don't think he's necessarily the lad who he is when he went on that show. And he seems a lot more dedicated to his fighting now than he does to the Geordie Shore. That's
what I was going to touch on, because obviously he's moved to Birmingham for it. Like, it's not like he's just
he's not
let's find the nearest gym to me and go there. He's taking it really seriously,
and that's why I give him as much credit as I possibly can. Speaking of Colin Fletcher's much more qualified to talk about this stuff than me.
Yeah.
Just having been in there and done it at the highest level. And Colin said, until someone knocks this kid out, you can't really talk to him. You can't say anything because he's bringing in publicity. If you're one of the ones who are tuning in to see him getting knocked out, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
He knows that. He realises that. And that just brings more eyes, so he doesn't really care. I know they were trying to get him matched up with the lad who was a lot more seasoned. I think he was 4-1 as an amateur. The lad pulled out.
Yeah.
Don't know the lad's name. I don't think they ever publicly released it. Have you seen the video of Carl Donaldson?
When he's boxing, yeah.
Heavy hands. It's not like an easy. It's not like a. He's not fighting like whoever it was in his first fight.
Aye.
I mean the kickboxer lad.
Yeah.
I mean he just wasn't suited to MMA. He was suited to kickboxing.
Taking the ground.
As soon as he took him down, it was fight over. Like, I mean, this isn't going to be like that.
No.
I mean.
That last one, mind, either one of them could have dropped. It was whoever connected first.
But
both of them come out. Them chins were up. They were. But it was
a
proper highlight knockout, wasn't it?
And I think that shut a lot of people up. It really did. But I think once you start to see the levels of progression, I think more and more people will be surprised. He might lose a couple of fights. I think he will lose a couple of fights actually in his lead up to it. But the fact that he might legitimise himself from the position that he's in, from being a Geordie Shore reality star, he's nearly 30 now. He is 30 now.
30. There we go.
I think it's a weird position to be in. I think he deserves a bit more credit than he's getting. I really do.
Do you think he should be fighting a welterweight?
No, definitely not. I think that's he's a lightweight. If he did his cut,
yeah, because
I've just been saying that lads shouldn't be cutting weight though. So yeah, I'm being hypocritical there. Like, but
you look at some of the welterweights, like
he's quite small for welterweight.
Yeah, well, look at the likes of Joe Savage, who was on the last card. One of the lads me were really impressed with. Sorry, the card before last. If you put
September card.
Joe Savage in there with Aaron, do you know what I mean? It
makes no sense for anyone business wise. That I mean, Joe's a killer. Like.
No,
remember that name, Joe Savage. Honestly, look him up in his last fight. His videos on Made for the Cage, at Made for the Cage UK on Facebook. Kid's a monster, like he really is, and I think he'll be next level.
But what I mean by that is size wise. If Aaron is wanting that step up in that step up in level,
I think Joe's
he's going to have to fight.
Joe's a middleweight though.
Is Joe middle?
I think so. But that's going to be the size of lads who he is going to be fighting, because lads are cutting a stupid amount of weight at the minute, and hopefully these new weight classes is going to bring it up.
Right, well,
if you look at the welterweight classes though, in the sort of in the world at the minute,
yeah, I know, like
it's a there's some monsters in there.
Tyron Woodley.
I mean, he's a middleweight. There's no way that lad's a welterweight.
Yeah,
don't know how he's cutting what he is, but he's a.
He gets down like.
We look at Chase, but there's lads who the transition between welterweight and middleweight has been very successful recently. Look at Whittaker.
Yeah,
Whittaker was a welterweight. He's about the right size for middleweight, but he would be considered undersized against Luke Rockhold. But I saw them face off yesterday. Rockhold's got a good 3 inches on him. Like,
yeah,
that would be a good fight, by the way. I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue about that fight. I haven't looked into it at all yet.
So you've got Steve May and Ngannou confirmed as well for the same card.
I don't know what they're feeding that boy.
I know, it's
some deer meat going lost from like some wild jungle somewhere. That guy's an absolute monster.
Something else, isn't
and Stipe is different class as well. Stipe is an animal as well.
Yeah,
he's got that sort of it's just like it's never say die attitude. I know it's easy to say about a fighter, but when you go in there with Stipe, you know you're going to be in for an absolute war. Like,
do you think Ngannou was what the heavyweight division needed as well?
Yes, 100%.
Because it was sort of full of dinosaurs.
It's not young though.
It's no.
He's in his 30s. I think
he's still a sort of breath of fresh air though, isn't
100%.
he?
Well, he's different. I've never seen anything like him before.
That Overeem knockout was.
I've never seen anything like that against the striker, the caliber of Overeem. It's just different class, like, and it's not like. I mean, it's technically brilliant at the same time, but that power is just, if you combine that with the technique, it's just, I mean, ain't nobody taking that punch in the world. Like, it really isn't. I think that's the biggest fight in the world at the minute. What,
Miocic and Ngannou, yeah?
I think if you look at pay-per-view sales, if you're looking at sort of peak interest, I can't really think of anything that's going to be bigger than Miocic versus Ngannou at the minute. I really can't.
Yeah, I didn't realise that card had took shape as much as it has already, but they've got Cormier confirmed as well for that.
Ozdemir.
Yep.
Tough fight for him. Really tough fight for him. Ozdemir is this zombie who keeps just walking forward, and he's a tough fight. But I've got a theory about DC that if John Jones never existed, we'd be talking about DC as the greatest fighter of all time.
Yeah.
100%. If you look at the lads he's beat, look at the lads he's dominated, he would be undefeated, keep in mind, if that was the case. Mauled Alexander Gustafsson. Convincingly beat Anthony Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Won 2 rounds off John Jones. If you're looking at who he's beaten, who he's fought, I mean that what he did to Dan Henderson should be illegal. You just threw him about like he was a kid. It was unbelievable, and that's one of the legends of sport who nearly knocked Michael Bisping out in his next fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you're looking at sort of talent and underappreciated talent in MMA, Daniel Cormier is number 1 on that list.
Who else would you be having on that list of sort of
underappreciated fighters? Oh, I love lists like this, mate.
There's so many.
Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz is top 5 fighter of all time. He doesn't seem to get that recognition because of...
He's not Team Alpha Male.
Where he beat Team Alpha Male? You know what I mean?
I know. But it's almost that there's that many of them
100%.
that keep popping up in that division. It's like, unless they are.
Frankie Edgar is another one. Frankie's a beast. Underappreciated fighters. There's loads though. There's loads from back in the old days, like the likes of even Frank Trigg and people like that who fought top level lads. Chuck Liddell. People forget about Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was the original superstar from the UFC.
Do you think the women's division's starting to get the recognition it's deserved?
Yes,
after
absolutely.
Years of sort of going on. I think
it's just catching up with the level though. I really do. And that's not a knock on sort of women in sport in general. Yeah. I think it's I think they're just catching up that sort of level where they should be, sort of appreciated as the really elite athletes. I mean, Ronda. If Ronda fought now, she'd be in her peak. I'm talking. She'd be the 3rd or 4th best fighter in the world.
Yeah.
Whereas she was like head and shoulders away the best fighter in the world at that time. I think it
got
shows
head and shoulders taken off by home, and then it was that head kick's still like one of the.
I think it's possibly the most iconic MMA moment of
ever.
All time. I think it really is. Just that underdog mentality, and that was what really piqued the interest of the both social media and the mainstream media. Social media because of the memes that came from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anything more varied or anything like that, and like sort of like mick taken throughout the internet. And then in the mainstream media, there was this sort of aura around Ronda, and so the fact that there was other girls like her, I think it progressed the sport massively, especially women's. I
think the fed out of the wolves giving the Nunes mind first fight back after getting head kicked off Holly.
It was just
for her to come back. I know that
promotion
had to give her the title shot.
Promotion that fight was terrible as well.
That was horrendous.
She's got an unbelievable story, Amanda Nunes. Coming from Brazil, she's the first openly gay. A partner's a MMA fighter as well. And none of that story was told in the lead up to Ronda. This is where I think people are missing a trick with the promotion side of things. Because yes, it's brilliant to have these superstars, but if you look at
relatable stories,
even that, like building other people off that name. So what happens if, say, I'm going to use Cage Warriors as an example. What happens if Nathaniel Wood, who's a massive star, what happens if he gets beat? Who takes over that division?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to then build another star. And they do that very well with majority of fighters. Like Carmen Musso came off that, and he was a big star because of that. And so it is possible for lads in UK MMA. Like the Chalmers thing. Bama are doing the right thing in not having him at the top of the card. like right at the top of the card, and having Ryan Scope at the top of the card, because people are going to turn up for Aaron Chalmers and they're going to see Colin Fletcher, Adam Proctor, should have been Josh Abraham. I know he's had a late pull out as well.
So was that fight off?
Absolutely got it from, like, in fight week as well. He had 2 opponents pull out. It's just not fair on him, like, but he's another one. By the way, quick shout out to Josh. He's going to be some fighter in 2018, especially.
Even that's a sort of shame for the Northeast MMA, because the Northeast so small. You do find that a lot of lads that are friends trying, like.
I know they were trying to get. There
was a few matches that they had lined that end,
which they couldn't, because they trained with people and stuff like that. But it was a shame, like, massive shame for Josh. But if going back to that point, having Ryan Scope at the top of the card with Aaron Chalmers on, Ryan then becomes a huge star if he wins by, like, some sort of knockout, or if he puts a dominant performance on, which I think he might.
Head kicks.
I've said it before.
Watching that kid kick in training from flat is one of the most frightening things you'll ever see.
It's like, I don't know, there's no external movement. It's like half a second. I was going to say this to you. I already did. I had it all prepared for you when I came on. I was watching this lad fight last night, LeBeau, and he tries to catch all these head kicks. He tries to, like, almost like a takedown. I saw it was his top fight on YouTube. I don't know if this is how long ago this was, but it wasn't his UFC. But midway through the first round, the lad tries for a head kick and he tries to catch it instead of just blocking it. If he does that score, he's getting knocked out. He really is. This lad's a good fighter though. Don't get that wrong. He's a veteran and he's crafty. But he's not what I thought he was going to be. The French lads who tend to be in BAMA tend to be wrestlers and grapplers, like, so sort of drowned out decision winners. This lad doesn't look like. Well, he is a decision master by the looks of things. His last sort of 7 or 8 fights have been by decision, but he's a stand-up fighter, like, he really is. So I think it'll be a good fight. But I think Ryan will pick him off. I really do.
Cyborg. Just seen it there in the bottom corner of the screen.
That goes back to weight cuts, doesn't it? That was one of the worst things I've seen.
Horrible to watch now.
Just fighting out a true weight and no one wants to fight her. She's got to fight with Holly Holm though, hasn't she?
Yeah, is that not, like, in the next couple of weeks?
Might be. That's a good fight.
That'll be some fight, by the way.
That's a good fight. I can't see.
Yeah, there you go. 30th of December, Holly Holm, Cyborg.
I think that might be when we realise how good Cyborg really is.
Yeah, if Holly does beat her though, should become, without doubt, the best. Should beat should beat Rousey in a peak. Should be beating Cyborg.
No, which is being beaten by
Misha in a fight she was winning, I suppose. Yeah,
she was winning it.
Yeah, she was.
She was dominating it. I had a 3-1 up going into the 5th. Got caught, and then she lost her last one as well, didn't she?
She lost the one after Misha, and then I think she's had 2.
She lost to the former featherweight champ, though, didn't she? Was she not in the first featherweight title fight?
Yeah, with Jermaine Durand.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. I can't remember her name. She does not want any of Cyborg, that girl. She's doing everything in her. She just gave the belt back. Yeah. She's like, I do not want to be champion because I do not want to fight Cyborg.
I don't know how true it is. I've not looked into it, but I know that Joe Rogan said on his podcast that Durandame has fought a man in an actual MMA fight and won.
Right.
Yet won't fight Cyborg.
Well, that shows how dominant this girl is. That's that'll be interesting to see if she has in like an actual fight. I doubt they've got that recorded anywhere though. Oh man.
Oh no, right.
Jermaine Durandame versus Tom Weiss. It looks like that looks like boxing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, and this lad doesn't look like he's got any place to be in there with her. I mean, he's swinging like, don't get us wrong, but he doesn't look like he's got any place to be in there with her. She's a quality striker, like. This would be a good insight to people who say, "Oh wow,
my God!"
If you don't know what we're watching, type in Jermaine Durandame knocks out a man, and then skip to about 4 minutes 22 of that, and then we'll let her run. And it's
Tom Weiss tries to put her on the ropes,
and she is on the ropes as well.
Yeah. and
massively on the ropes, and she's just countering. She's not getting hit there.
no,
And then bang.
douche, right hook from hell.
Wow, I've never seen that. How have I never seen that? That's massive.
But
For lads looking out there who are questioning how tough these girls are, though, he's your average bloke, and that's what would happen to you if you stepped into the ring with Joanne Demir or Collie Holm or anyone like that. I mean, you just get taken a bit like you really would. And I think that's another sign of respect that that lads who are casual fans are looking at the female fighters now and going, wow, she brought the living daylights out of me.
I think that division's starting to get. Oh, sorry, the women's just as a whole is starting to get really stacked now as well. Like, you look that Rose Namajunas.
But she's marketable as well.
Yeah.
What I mean that's what I feel I could bring an insight to, is the sort of marketability of certain fighters. She's marketable as hell, Rose, because she's. I mean, even the thing with her on stage doing the Lord's Prayer in front of her at the weigh-ins and that, it's just terrifying. But they were doing it near to Halloween, I remember, and that fits in with the time. And then she's a massive star off that, and then she's going to go on to massive things. So I think she might end up being one of the best of all time.
Even her like shaving her hair off, just stupid little things like that. But you think
she's got the image.
That is mental.
Well, half of it is the image. I mean, Cole's got Satan's Sinner tattooed on his face now. Just like it's being your character. You know what I mean? It's being that gimmick. If you look at the one I always reference is WWE. I mean, there's no more perfect sort of. I mean, I know it's not combat. It's like it's scripted and whatever.
Yeah.
But if you look as a kid, I mean, who wasn't into wrestling when they were a kid? You know what I mean? I mean, it's mad. And that was because they created these sort of idols and superstars for you to look at. And the business model when you look at the UFC is fairly similar. You put them in with established stars or surrounded by established stars, and if they're good enough, they'll rise to the top.
Yeah,
100%. And that hopefully that's what's happening with Chalmers at the minute with UK MMA.
And we've had James as well going out into the UFC. First fight didn't necessarily go his way, but
it's a tough one for him because he was against this stocky wrestler,
Justin Willis, who was like 40 pound heavier as well.
Yeah, he was a beast.
Big weight difference.
James is the one who could be, if there was a 225 division, James is perfect.
Yeah. James Mahara is a perfect size for that.
Yeah, well, he's the exact example of the lads who should be fighting at 225 and who haven't got a weight class for him. Like I say, he's fighting monsters in Justin Willis, and he got a bit of a lesson, but I think he learned from that. And
he went out and he was training with the AK lads.
And that was where he's from, wasn't it? Willis, that was where he's from, and so he'll learn a lot from that.
Call me Khabib, Rocco.
I mean, just even being around lads like that. I don't know what they're drinking in the water like, but that's producing superstars like. But he's had a bit of bother though, because obviously
flagged up for something we don't know what.
And if you know James Mulheron, or if you've been around James Mulheron at all, you'll know he's not that type of lad. He just isn't. I mean, he doesn't have the frame for the steroid link or whatever it is. I don't know what he's been flagged for. I don't
think they've
announced
it
it
either. No.
But he's just not that type of lad. I mean, he's got this insane cardio, which people have been saying on Twitter. I don't know why I listen to people on Twitter, but people on Twitter have been saying, I mean, his cardio is down to the steroids, and then now it all makes sense. Nah, this kid just trains like a beast.
Yeah,
his dad's a monster. If you look at his dad, he's exactly the same.
Yeah,
he's just an older version of James. Shout out Jim Mulheron, man, he's a legend. But that stamina and that sort of explosion and that heavy hitting comes from training.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're around Phil DeFries as well. I mean, Phil DeFries has never flagged up. Do you think Phil DeFries would have flagged if he was in the same sort of situation as James through his whole life? 100% he would have. But and he hasn't. So I don't think. I think it's a massive misunderstanding. Possibly it was supplement or something like that. And James is no cheat man.
No,
definitely not.
In terms of that as well, there is times when you sort of have got it wrong, and of course, sincerely hope in the likes of James Mulheron. But how good have they been for cleaning up that sport and really showing true fighters
Definitely.
to the like.
It's probably dulled the sport a bit.
Yeah. Just get a steroid division going. Just cram them all in, juiced up.
That'd be so
Lesnar Jones.
I've said this. I've said this about the Olympics. I've said about everything. What do you want to say? Do you want to see a lad run it in 9.6 seconds, or do you want to see him run it in 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Just for human enhancement. I just juice them up with what you want. But for combat sport, it's different because you're getting in there with a lad who's trying to take your head off. But it's been massive for fighter safety. Which is definitely
the most important part of the
100%, and I think that's what we at Made for the Cage pride ourselves on. I think this MMA Safe Thing program that we're looking into is going to help that more.
And I think a bit more about that as well.
I don't really know too many details about it, to be honest. But what it is it's just like a regulator.
All right.
And so we're not regulated by anything in the minute. And neither are a lot of shows in the UK. And so until we get that sort of governing body and that regulation, that union for fighters, that I'm personally going to strive for. I really am. Despite the fact that it might not be best for the promotion. I mean, Dale and Steve, I'll agree with that. I mean, we're not making millions off this. We're really not.
No.
I mean, it's dragging, clawing my way to the sort of next level of every fight, and we seem to be getting there at the minute. But we're not making millions of this, and there's lads getting underpaid, 100%. There's lads getting underpaid.
Yeah.
Who would love to pay thousands of pounds to for every fight, but we just can't with the lack of sponsorships at the minute. But bringing in that MMA Safe and another governing body, and a union for the fighters, I think that's massive. To make sure they are getting paid what they're worth. And until that happens, I think sponsors are going to stray away from it as much as possible. So we need that sort of foundation in MMA at the minute. And then I think the sponsors will come.
That's one deal that I think mine shouldn't have went through the Reebok UFC. I understand why the UFC done it from a business point of view, but there was lads fighting on them cards that were making more money off sponsorships.
I think they did it with the right intentions. Actually, I think selfish is a bit of a strong word. I don't know why I just said that, but but I think they did it with the right intentions of these lower level lads getting the sort of sponsorships that they weren't getting, and the entry fights, and maybe even like the likes of Mulheron, who might not. I don't know what Mulheron's earning, but if you look at him, that Reebok deal would be good for him, and it's a good amount of money. But then when you go throughout the stages and you look at the lads at the top and the Conor McGregors and the GSPs, you're costing the lads a lot of money at the top. It does look more professional. It makes it amicable for sponsors. But you've got to think of the fighters first. And
without the fighters, you've not got a show. And
Reebok was sponsoring a few lads first, weren't they?
Yeah, and then they
John Jones comes to mind.
I think so, yeah.
Or was that
Nike?
Might have been Nike. Yeah. Might have been Nike, because Silva was on the Nike train as well. But there was lads who were getting sponsored by these massive deals. I think someone thought, we're not getting any money from this, so let's get some money from it. So it's unfortunate, but I think it'll be a massive deal in the end. But UFC, you can't knock whatever the UFC's done. No. You really can't.
They've got the sport where it is. Yeah, you've 100%. Had Pride, you've had.
But they made the sport
promotions, but
they made the sport. Yeah. They can do what they want. I'm sorry, right? It's like I know there's people who will criticise the UFC because there has been some dodgy deals in the past, but I don't think any company is going to have sort of a
totally clean record.
Yeah, 100%.
It's business at the end of the day.
And Colin will testify for that. Colin said Colin's deal with the UFC went sour, and that was a shame, massively. I don't think he got the deal he was promised or something like that. I don't know. Right. I don't know.
I'd like to call on the podcast, actually. That would be...
Colin would be a class podcast.
It'd be great to have on.
100%.
Make sure I get the side of the face with all the tattoos.
He's got them on both sides now.
Aye.
Yeah. So it doesn't really matter which side you go for, whether it's the saint or the sinner. I think he's got saint on one side and sinner on the other. I could be wrong though. But what we're talking about... I love this for podcasts, man. Just go off
topic, innit? Just
complete tangent. UFC.
Yes, how good they are.
But for the sport, there's never been anyone better.
Nah.
And there never will be anyone better. They've taken that to the next level. And you look at Dana, people criticise Dana all the time for certain things that he says or certain things that he backtracks on. The lad's run a roster of 400 odd people.
Yeah.
I mean, he's never going to get anything right. And to have the sport where it is, and it's mainly because of him and that sort of personality, is massive.
First thing you think of when you think UFC, Dana White.
First thing you think of when you think of MMA is
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, and then Dana White. Really is.
Connor's done well with that. He getting
Connor's
himself
done
in
well
there,
with
but
Don't know what's happening with Conor at the minute. He needs to get himself a fight though.
what do you want to see?
What
If
do I want to
somebody
see?
came to you and said, Ben, give us Connor's next fight, what would you give him?
What do I want to see?
Boxing, MMA, anything
No,
you
definitely
like.
not boxing. Right, I've
Probably
got
swim
to.
pool with Michael
I've
Phelps
got.
and let him go.
I've got to rant about this, man. Because the thing with Conor is that he's always been about the money, yes, but there's always been like an element of legacy behind it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how true the rumours about the Manny Pacquiao fight are, but I don't see where the progression is with his legacy for that. You understand that he got the title, knocked out Jose, unbelievable, 13 seconds, never ever, like just a one in a lifetime situation. Does the Nate Diaz fight, which is £170, so you see the progression there, can fight at any weight. Beats Nate Diaz in the rematch, can beat anybody at any weight within that range. Gets a double title. You can see that progression still. Fights Floyd Mayweather. Unbelievable for the sport. Unbelievable for mainstream media attention for us. So we're going to Floyd here. Like everything's progressed
after
here.
Floyd, yeah.
The next thing up would be defending the title against Tony Ferguson for me, or the Diaz 3 fight. The Manny Pacquiao fight takes him down a little, I think, in terms of I wouldn't want to watch it. And that's the first time I've ever said that about a Conor McGregor fight. Mainstream media might be interested in it, but the die-hard MMA fans wouldn't be, and that was the sort of core foundation that took you to them breaking records.
Yeah.
It's going to be a step down. So I think he's got to think about. Well, I mean, I'm never going to look at into his bank account and say, "Don't take a £90 million fight against Manny Pacquiao." You know what I mean? That sets his family up for the rest of his life. But he's getting
3-4 year for Conor because he's an absolute baller.
Spends like a ridiculous.
The planes, the cars.
Do
Imagine
you think
having
he's
that.
bad? Look at Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I've seen some of that.
Johnny Depp's accountant sued him because he was spending too much money. Because he was spending about £3 million a month. That's the funniest thing I've ever read. That, but with Conor, I want him to defend his next fight. I think should be defending the belt against Ferguson. I can't see that happening until the end of the year, though.
Conor beats Ferguson. Does then the Diaz trilogy happen for the 155 belt?
Yeah, and then by that time, Khabib's worked himself up. So you do Khabib in Russia.
Unless Barboza takes his head off it.
I don't think he will.
December 30th, no?
Nah. I mean, I love Barboza. I think he's a class fighter, and I think if you were going to combine two fighters to make the perfect MMA fighter, I think Barboza and Maya would be that combination, that sort of striking and that grappling. But if you're looking at fighters who are just dominant at the minute, Khabib's number one. Like, I mean, he got hit against Johnson, mind.
Yeah.
If Conor lands that left against Khabib, that ain't like Michael Johnson hitting you. That's a freight train. That's a knockout. Which is why I think he beats him.
Talking about John Jones just before there as well. Looking at the Nike the Reebok deal, the first article that comes up.
Was that after the talk about that, mate, if you want. The John Jones
the
endorsement
officially terminated. So
when was that?
It was September 24th, 2014.
Was that not immediately after the hit and run thing?
Yeah, I was going to touch just John Jones in general. Really, it's
greatest of all time.
Even with his suspension and suspensions,
greatest fight of all time, 100%. The steroid thing puts a bit of a damper on it because you don't know whether he's been using them the whole time.
Yeah.
But you could say that about every single lad who's who fought before USADA.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do, you're going to completely remove the history of MMA and then start from the lads who are USADA. You just don't know with the sport the way it was so steroid ridden. If you're looking at lads who beats John Jones.
Yeah, I know.
Who in the history of that division beats John Jones? Who in the history of the heavyweight division beats John Jones? There's nobody I would look at and go, I fancy him against John Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the level of fighter that he is. GSP's up there though. Just for legacy in terms of things like that, I think a lot of people will have him at the top.
What do you think about him coming back, getting the title, and vacating it straight away?
I think it's an illness though, so I don't think it's like necessarily his fault. I don't blame him. Mine got paid 3.5 million.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, I'm not turning down that fight. I'd do the same against Michael Bisping as well. I don't think I'd do as well as he did, like, but that was I fancy Bisping so heavily for that fight as well.
Yeah, me too.
Just thought he's reaching.
I think I got every single title fight wrong that night.
I got the only one I got right was the Rose fight.
Yeah.
I put a bet on the Rose fight.
Yeah, no,
which
I
I
lost.
Proceeded to brag about on Twitter because I thought, nah, my luck's coming in here, and then Dillashaw knocks out Cody, which I never saw coming either. I thought Cody had a chin in granite.
Still got that superstar potential though, Cody Garbrandt.
I think he is a superstar. I think Dillashaw is as well. I think them not marketing him as well as they possibly could be.
Touching back on Team Alpha Male, do you think that's why? Because of the way that whole thing went down with Dwayne Ludwig and Dillashaw.
You create a narrative that people can buy into, that the common fan goes, well, that's obvious why he doesn't like him, because they were teammates and now they're not. That's a simple narrative that fans can get behind, and that goes from everyone from Dana White to me mum. You know what I mean? Like, everyone gets that. Or everyone's got that sort of relatability to them two lads, and maybe a friend that they're not that close to anymore. And creating them similar narratives is where the fight sells, like it really is.
Yeah. So for you, if you at the minute, all the UFC stars, you know, your top brass UFC, if you could put a fight together, whether it be a title fight, whether it just be matchmaking top 10,
any fight in the world,
any fight,
realistic or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean by non-realistic? Like put Lesnar in with Johnson and see what happens.
If they could put them at the same weight, I'd have Conor and Jones in there. Like, but obviously that's not realistic.
Yeah.
If they could have them at the same weight, though, that'd be.
Would you fancy Conor Woodley? Is that a fight you'd want to see?
I'm not interested in Woodley fights. I mean, I am just because of the sport and stuff like that.
But like in terms of
I'd never go, Tyrone Woodley's fighting this week. I can't wait. I mean, he's a quality. He's one of the best in the world at the minute. Maybe that's marketing as well. I don't know with him.
I think
any fight in the world.
Do you not think fighters make it harder for themselves to market? Just by thinking about that though. Like,
I don't think it's their responsibility to.
No.
No.
No, but they do. Influence.
I think they can.
Conor makes himself marketable. Like, there's no.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think it's their responsibility to, though. I think it's on the promotion to make the fights as marketable as possible. If you're putting yourself in that situation, that makes it a lot easier from promotion. You're going to get in favour with the promotion.
Yeah.
The likes of Joe Savage, if that lad doesn't need to say a word, we need to create that narrative for him that he's going to be a top fighter, and then have him back it up.
Touching on them local lads, Luke Ord. He's now 4-2-1. 5-2-1 after Nathan Thompson. There doesn't seem to be from that made for the cage the back and the likes of Joe had coming in,
and I don't understand why.
That was what I was going to ask you. Do you understand where that's coming from?
No,
how
it just happens with fighters. It just happens with certain fighters. The
kid's a talent. Like, he's
a star.
Yeah.
And a really good fighter. Really good fighter. And a nice lad. Speaks well. Again, that might be on what we're doing with him. I think that might be a responsibility of what we're doing with him. Might not be promoting him as well as we can. I think that's our responsibility. To get him the platform that he wants. If you look at the lads he's beat, though, there's some good lads on that list. Ricky Fortuna strikes to mind. Ricky Fortuna's a good fighter.
Yeah.
That Franz Malambo, by the way, who fought at M4 TC21, click on him, because he was a machine. So
4-2.
Where's he fighting? Brave. I would love to get him back on the show. I think he's an absolute talent.
Yeah.
He's from SBG. Trains with Conor.
Yeah. I think one of my favourite fighters made for the cage I've had through, in terms of not somebody who's necessarily locally based, when Chris Bungard came down, he was a character.
Chris is a character, like I say, but we gave him the platform to be a character. I think that's what it is with Luke Ord. I think we just haven't given him the right promotion yet, or maybe the right fights. If he fights someone highly ranked and he beats him, then he becomes a star that I think he is. But his videos do well. His viewers do well, not great. But like I say, a nice lad, and he is marketable, and he's a great fighter. So maybe we need to do a bit more with him.
Going back to Chris, is the plan? I know you can't go into too much, but is the plan to try and get him back down 2018?
Well, the plan is to get him back matched up with Colin in 2018 for that title.
Because I know Chris has said that he'd come on the podcast as well, which I think again would be a great podcast.
Oh my
Get him in.
He'd never get a word in though. Chris can speak for England. He's top bloke though, Chris. I like him.
Top gym as well, by the way. Paul Craig fighting out there. He's got
Scottish and Mace banging at the minute, like it really is. It's booming. And it's down to that gym at the heart of it. Like so Paul Craig, like you say, I can't remember the lad who was the head coach, but he's a genius. Like kill me. I know. But yeah, the likes of them creating that foundation for gyms in Scotland, and like a recipe for them to copy is perfect for that division. Can we speak about the gyms in the northeast, by the way?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Because I have never ever, I've travelled the country looking at shows. I have never ever seen a better group of gyms than in the northeast of England.
Yeah,
it's just like TFT, SPG, A7A, Spartan. No one talks about Spartan. That's what I mean. Spartan is one of the best gyms in the country. I mean, the lads that they're producing, like Jamie Stevenson and Chris Thurkel and Tom Webster and people like that. By the way, Tom Webster, watch out for Tom Webster. I know you might not have seen him fight yet. He's an amateur. Yeah. He's going to be some fighter. Yeah. Conor Palmer, who you've probably never heard of either, but what a fighter. Lewis Garside came from that gym. James Mulheron came from that gym. DeFries came from that gym. Collins trained at that gym. I mean, these lads have that foundation from Spartans, and Warren Oliver, man, shout out Warren Oliver. I shout out Warren Oliver on every podcast I do, because I think he's, if you like to say, I think he's on that Mount Rushmore of North East MMA for things that he's done.
Yeah, Louis Garside, do we know what the deal is with him?
Don't know what the crack is with him at the minute. I haven't spoken for a while.
Because I know he won obviously the UAR belt.
Yeah.
23
possibly
when James fought.
That was a good fight.
Yeah, really good
Scott Pedersen.
Yeah,
took him apart, didn't he?
Third round, that suplex was just.
He took him apart.
But yeah, because then he turned pro after that, didn't he?
I think he did, and then I don't know if he's had a fight yet.
I know he's had a couple of like kickboxing
because he was meant to be fighting on our November card. But I
know he got injured.
Did he?
In possibly K1,
right,
where he's went. I'm sure he's went for a spinning kick. The kids went for a spinning kick that he was fighting. He's ran in to catch him. The kids caught him with the elbow and split his head, and it was a bad cut.
Right.
So I think that's why he's been out.
Well, that might be prolonging his pro debut, but once he hits pro ranks, like, I mean, he's
another one that could
100%.
Potentially.
I mean, Louis not young.
No.
Louis, I don't know how old Louis is at the minute, but he's not like 21, 22-year-old who's coming through. But that experience in the amateurs that he's got will pay massive dividends when he gets to the pro ranks, because honestly he's going to make a storm, 100%.
How do you see Colin and Chris going down if it does happen again next year?
Haven't got a clue. Them two, I refuse to put any sort of prediction on it, because I think it's the best fight I've ever seen live.
Yeah.
In terms of back and forth action, could have went either way, really could have.
Chris looked hurt in that first round, seconds in when Colin had him on the floor, and then
I think that's what won him the fight. I think that's what won him the fight.
Well, that first.
When you look at it, that first exchange, I think that's what tipped him over the edge.
Yeah.
But man, Chris Bungard he's such a funny bloke, and leading up to it, and then even what he was doing in the cage when Colin was doing his entrance, he was like welcoming him on him and stuff. It was so funny.
Brought got the crowd going. Brought a good crowd down as well, didn't he?
Did I? But it was a bit bother after the. Well, not bother, but there was a lad who was one of Chris's mates who wouldn't leave the.
Yes, I know.
He wouldn't leave one of the staff alone because he was fuming about the result. Like, that's that sort of dedication that Scottish fans bring, man. They're northeast lads, top drawers. Scottish fans, top drawers as well.
Say no to sort of all this to shout out as well. Shout out Angie Ellis, by the way.
Yeah. Can we talk about this?
Yes.
Because Angie Ellis is the most unappreciated person in Northeast MMA at the minute, man. Honestly, you look at Made for the Cage and why it's doing so well, and it's because in every single category we've got killers, absolute killers. You've got Dale doing the matchmaking, Steve doing the sponsorships and stuff like that, trying to bring in them.
Political side of things, isn't he?
100%. And just the actual running of the
Yeah.
business, you know what I mean? Me and you doing the media, me doing the PR side of it. We're doing all right if we say so for ourselves, you know what I mean?
Buddy Johnson.
Buddy's best in the world.
Yeah. Do you know if Buddy's doing Friday?
He's doing Bama.
Is he? Get
Yeah,
it.
can't wait. Angie's the best photographer,
Yeah.
MMA wise, that I've seen in the world. Like, genuinely, I'm not even joking. Like the images she captures, even the Ashley. Have you seen the Ashley Harden backflip photo?
Yeah.
It's on the Made for the Cage site if you haven't seen it. That photo is unbelievable. I don't think that was her either. I think that was one of her mates.
Aye.
But Angie's won competitions and stuff for
Yeah.
for her image of.
Carl.
No, it was James with his eye,
Oh,
with
aye.
his massive
yeah.
black eye. I think she won an award for that.
Ruben Wolf.
Yeah, after the Ruben Wolf fight. What a fight that was, by the way.
But no,
I
Angie
just
doesn't
kill her.
capture the fight. She captures the night.
She
Like,
captures some sort of I don't want to get too deep into it, like, because I don't really know much about photography, but she seems to capture like the emotion
yeah,
of
she
the side of
gets
things.
like.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what separates it. I think it really does.
Yeah.
Angie Ellis is the best.
So yeah, Angela's photography. If you go and check that out on Facebook,
Definitely.
that'd be great. Give it a like.
And Buddy's best. In
Yeah,
the
Buddy
game.
Johnson, man.
Buddy's the best in the world. I love him, man. He's so good. Barry Braley does all our screens and stuff like that. He's
Yeah.
class.
Trevor Mitchell, reference.
Aye, Trev's class. You know what I mean? Like, we've got the judges who some people might not always agree with, but they're always high level fighters or
Yeah.
high level jiu-jitsu fighters or MMA fighters themselves.
Even the medical team and stuff as well. Like the
Ian
work they do.
Freeman and Peter
Yeah,
Irvin on
the
commentary. Do you know how much of an honour that was jumping on that? By the way, that was like dream come true. Honestly, Ian's so funny when he's off when the mic's not hearing him, but he's so funny. And Peter Irvin provides that in-depth sort of detail that you go into. That's like the Joe Rogan
Yeah.
of equivalent. And they're a nice balance, and so to be able to jump on with them, and Joe McNally as well. Joe McNally's he jumped on commentary with us for a couple of fights and wanting on it to be sitting alongside them three guys. Like, it really is.
So would the plan for you be to go into that, or is it more
Don't
the PR
know.
stuff that you?
I don't really know. I'm kind of just doing bits and pieces at the minute. I like the PR side of things. I like
Yeah.
the marketing side of things because I think I've got a good brain for it, to be honest. And seeing which fighters do well, doing social media, and this Made for the Cage advent thing, I just kind of thought off the top of my head, and it's doing alright, to be fair. The way we promote the fights, Ben Ryan, I didn't shout out Ben Ryan and Justin
The boys from
Jerome
Rethink.
Wardle. The production value on our videos is through the roof.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And that I can't remember the name.
Of
The production company.
Rethink. No.
Is it Rethink? Yes, it is. Might be. So check them out as
Apologies
well.
if
Ben,
I got that wrong.
I know. They've changed it a couple of times though, so I don't know. I think it might be though. But check out Ben Ryan and Jerome Wardle if not. They're brilliant at what they do, and that's why we're reaching the level that we are at the minute, because there's not a gaping hole anywhere.
Yeah, I know you put out the figures as well for the top 5 viewed fights.
We
Was
didn't
that
shout out ASMA for the MMA gyms, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
like
like
insane.
there's just so many. Like it. Yeah, it is mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's-
You look at the amount of fighters they're producing at the minute. They're a scary gym.
Yeah, especially in terms of like 2-3 years time, they're gonna have.
Same with quite a lot of them though. TFT, Made for the Cage Fight Academy, and SPG, South Shield as well. They're all gonna be ridiculous in a few years' time.
Do you think Proctor's potentially one of the?
I think I think he's technically one of the best fighters I've ever seen. Whether he's marketable or not is a different question. But I think if he keeps winning fights, then why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, it's not hard to market the guy who's winning every time, you know what I mean? He's got that Robbie Lawler sort of feel to him, not Robbie Lawler, Rory McDonald sort of feel to him as well, where he doesn't have to say much, and he comes across as just this stone cold killer, like. And he's actually not like that when he's outside the cage. He seems like a dead amicable bloke, like, but he's
Well,
a beast.
That was one of the bits for me that showed as well, like, because there are still people. Oh, it's barbaric. They're just savages who want to
Kill
fight
them,
each other, kill each other, blah blah. One of the sort of bits that really caught me off guard was when Proctor fought Sam Bolt.
Right.
I didn't notice until I watched the fight back, but it was a couple of weeks after the Manchester attack. In Proctor
Right.
had on his shirt
Did he?
the I Heart Manchester.
Did he?
In like,
Didn't notice it.
yeah, it's just like little things like that you think like. At the end of the day,
If I'd have noticed that, I would have pointed it out on.
I didn't notice it fight night.
No?
I noticed it way after. But
we had a minute silence for Manchester attack.
yeah, that was incredible.
It was brilliant. It was just that you would hear a pin drop in the place, like, and just shows like this scene in this community that we're building, especially in the northeast. I can't really speak for other regions. UK MMA and specifically the northeast, like I say, have built this brilliant little community where it's almost like, honestly, I love going to the shows now because it's like going to like a family reunion.
Yeah.
It is. When you turn up, it's just you see faces that you haven't seen in a couple of months. You have a chat, and you watch some fights, like, and the level of performance that we're putting on at the minute is insane.
We've got, well, like we said before, without doubt, some of the best fighters in the country right
100%.
now.
And I think that Bama on Friday is going to show that. I mean, if you look at Bama on Friday, with the exception of the likes of the middle cards, like the Fabian, even then, Fabian Edwards, we could get on Made for the Cage. You know what I mean? In that sort of like level of fighter. I mean, if the exception of Aaron Chalmers, who were meant to get on the show last year.
Yeah, there's not been a couple of attempts to get out.
Yeah, he was meant to be on the Liverpool show. My heart scrapped the Liverpool show because we couldn't get him on because of filming and stuff. But this is what Dale puts together every single time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Ryan Scope at the top of the card. If you look at that Made for the Cage 23 card with Scope and Mulherron at the top of it, it's insane.
Yeah, that was my first Made for the Cage draft.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well,
So
So my first Made for the Cage was the 15, which I think is the best card that we've ever put on. And yours is 23, which I think was probably the second best card that we've ever put on.
I was not staff either. I was in the crowd that night. Yeah. So I got 2 tickets and me and my mate went through,
Quality.
watched it, and then that was how I ended up working for Made for the Cage because I messaged James on Facebook and was like, "Can I interview you?"
Oh, is that the one that I saw?
Yeah, the interview then got picked up. Yeah, no, you look at 23 as well.
Jake wrote an article on. It was Mulherron, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Mulherron. It was after he thingied the title.
And I hadn't seen anybody on Sportsbite. It was the uni website.
The uni website.
I hadn't seen anybody write that well on MMA. And I was doing it first year, and it was, I was the only one doing it then.
Yeah.
And then when you look at yourself, I was just like, I've got to get this kid on board, like I really do.
Well, I'm doing the section editing now for Sportsbite Full Combat, so we're trying to get a few more out. I know.
Are you getting many people?
Yeah, we've had a few.
Oh, yeah.
So we've just had an article go out, an exclusive with Carl Eleanor, and a one with Tony Mustard just got released as well today. So if you can go and check them out, that'd be great. But
so the more coverage you can get on that website for Northeast MMA, the better for yourselves and better for Northeast MMA. Like.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through this. That was my first card.
That was look at that
unbelievable card.
Josh Abraham's on that card as well. Louis Garside Scott Pedersen fight.
Yeah,
that was an unbelievable fight. I've never seen Louis fight better than that.
No,
I think Louis beast.
The crowd popped, by the way, when he hit that suplex. It's
a good moment. By the way, have you ever heard a crowd react like when Jamie Stevenson knocked out Toth?
No, never.
Ever.
That whole story is just something else. So
I knew. Hell man, I need to start crying on the night.
Again, Jamie's coming in start of the year, 17th of January. Jamie will be in, but yeah,
Jamie, good fighter. That story will be incredible actually if you listen to that one. Definitely.
Well, obviously I covered that for the Chronicle as well, and like I went in that not knowing who Jamie was, and it was like,
see, I knew his story.
Crazy when you look.
So I knew his story, and I knew you were an up and coming at the time.
Yeah.
And I thought this is gonna bang. Let's give the kid a go.
Yeah,
so, and you smashed it out of the park. To be fair to you both.
Like I say, I don't want to say too much about it because obviously he's coming out, he's going to tell his own side of it. But like when I can't even fathom thinking, oh, I think I've got asthma or a breathing problem, to being told you've got a tumour in your chest,
and then coming back
and landing that right hook. And
I think it'll be my favourite moment in MMA forever. I really do.
Jamie coming back. The Jamie coming back, yeah.
100%. I think that'll be my I think that was my peak for moments ever.
Yeah.
Really do.
Yeah,
Just the
was,
story behind it and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, that wasn't even like. It was a mid-card fight.
Yeah, he
You know
was.
what I mean? He wasn't meant to get that sort of attention, but he did, like.
Was that 25?
24.
Or was it 24?
I think. Might have been 25, you know.
We're just having a search, yeah.
All of them are sort of blending into one for me now, you know. All the cards
Yeah.
and that. I used to be able to pinpoint
Yeah, no, yeah, it was 25.
25. So that was only.
That was Chris
3
and
months
Carl.
ago?
Yeah.
That's mad. That.
I can't believe I only started working for me for the kid just yet. I texted you about that.
That was
the
your
other day.
first card.
23 was my first
right.
card, so 24 was my first one covering. So
Right.
that was Carl and
So you've only done 3 cards.
Jordan
Feels like
Murray.
you've been around forever.
Is that a compliment or is that?
It does, like, 'cause you feel like part of the family, I guess.
Aye. Yeah, no, 24 was my first, and then even that 25, what a hell of a card that is. By the way.
25's a decent card. Tony Mustard winning the heavyweight title. Bryony Lange,
Louis Monarch, Nathan Thompson.
Josh Abraham. Like you say, Jamie's top? He's the 6th card of the fight.
Yeah,
Neil Laird,
I was
good
gonna say,
fighter out
I
of
was
Scotland.
just about to touch on that as well. After that, the people from MMA UK were down as well.
Shout out them, by the way. Seeing them work live is different class.
Did you hear Neil's interview at the end
Yeah,
of that?
shout out Joe.
Calling out Joe Millward.
Don't know if the fight makes sense now. But what's Neil's record?
35.
Is he still? I don't think. Oh, yeah, he hasn't fought since. No, he hasn't fought since. He fought third. Fought third on Midfield Cage. Wow.
4 years.
So actually, the lads that he's been beat by are really high level lads.
Yeah.
Like you like your Sean Lomases and your Chris Thurtles. So maybe the fight does make sense. But that would be a scrap, like proper scrap.
That'd be the fight that I had that with Brad Carter. That was really good. I think
It was
that
underrated because it only did like 1,000 and a bit views,
Bit of
which
a
was the lowest
slogfest,
on the
like,
card.
as well, wasn't it? It was a
But it was I don't really want to touch on him though. Brad Carter.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a wrong one. Johnny Hoole though. Johnny Hoole and
when's he back?
don't know. We need to get him back as soon as possible though. I love watching him fight. He's class. Grant Gort's a monster.
Yeah.
He was 4-2 and he destroyed him like.
Setting that goes to the ground with Johnny, you think? Well,
Johnny's different
there's
class.
only one winner here. Like it's
That was why when Mickey Hodgson fought him, he took him down.
yeah.
And I thought that Ian, I was on commentary with Ian at the time, and Ian goes, "Why is he done that?" type of thing. Mickey looked good though. Mickey looked good in that fight, but Johnny Hoole's just at next level. He really is.
Dale Huggins as well, coming out of Made for the Cage.
He's made for the cage, lad.
Shame that fight fell through. The last one,
He's had surgery on his knee.
yeah.
So he'll be back. I don't know what he put on Facebook the other day. Something was wrong with his knee. It didn't sound good, but knowing Dale in the fight that he's gonna have a good 2018 as well.
Yeah.
If you're looking at lads from 2018, sort of like breakthrough fighters, who are you looking at the minute?
Ash Harden, I think,
Yeah.
even with the levels that he's going to get up, I'd love nothing more than to see Johnny Hoole turn pro. I know he's
I think
sort
he'll
of,
be next level.
imagine
Seeing
that.
I think Proctor breaks through to that sort of high level.
Yeah.
David McLaughlin,
Yeah, SBG.
Bailey Gilbert from Machine MMA.
Uh-huh.
He fought Millard
Yeah.
at the show just gone.
Yeah.
Got a bit of a lesson.
Could only come back better from that though. That's
I think he will.
especially with the likes of
Ian Freeman
Freeman
coaching
behind him.
I think he'll end up. He's only 17.
Yeah. Aye. Is that all he was?
Yeah, doesn't look, does he?
No. I was through Teesside for Olympus watching their show, and
I've only heard good things about
they
that. By the way,
had a lot
I
of-
messaged Anthony after the fight and I said congratulations, like, because I mean the more good shows in Northeast MMA, the better for everyone. Really is.
yeah, they had a lad on called Michael Stewart.
I've
Who
heard bits and pieces about this lad.
he fought Richie
Benelli.
from Fish Tank on the Rising card, beat him. fought again, and this was for a belt. I'm not too.
Is he on Rising Conquer as well? Richard Benani.
Yeah, he headlined it, the last Rising Conquer event. Yeah,
Good fight.
that was the headline. Richie and Michael Stewart.
Aye.
I'll see if I can find it though, because he landed this head kick from shin to the face, and it was like, I was there. I was through with a few fighters,
Mm.
in it.
Because it was Carl, wasn't it?
Yeah, I went through to watch Cal. I know it was on episode 1. Went through with a few of the TFT boys.
I tried to get through, but I was working.
And it was one of them knockouts where it almost knocks the crowd out as well.
I saw this. I did see this.
The head kick from...
Because the crowd just goes silent.
Yeah,
yes, I did see this.
Just, like...
It was a bit eerie.
It was...
I did, I saw it.
Fighting, I think, a lad from SBG.
So he looks like a decent fighter.
Yeah, he, again, in terms of up and coming.
Definitely.
Oh, I don't know where it is. But yeah, no, that was scary to watch.
Who do you think's the best fighter to ever come out? No, sorry, I'm asking questions.
Out of the North East. That's good, is it? On the other foot. Yeah.
Who do you think's the best fighter to ever come out in the North East?
Past, present...
Ever.
It's such a hard question, because in terms of what people have done,
Mm.
like we were touching on before, I struggle to look past Ian Freeman in terms of just, while the sport was growing, he was the one who was there as that figurehead, almost driving the North East. But then you've got Col for the past however long being at the top of his game. You've got James. There's 3 names already, but
So now you forgot
it's
Ross Pearson.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Ross Pearson out in Australia now.
I don't know where he is.
He's got his gym out there now, I think.
People
yeah.
forget he's North East based, man. He's
Sunderland boy, isn't he?
He's been UFC for years. You look at the likes of David Grant though. David Grant might be the best fighter ever come out of the North East.
Tough man.
He's a beast. I think Proctor might be it eventually though. I really do.
I can't wait until David gets his injury sorted and gets back in.
Yeah.
Because
as soon as it was his arm, wasn't it?
yeah, it was that.
Say
It
arm
was an
bar.
arm bar, and he just
Cracked him, didn't he?
I interviewed him for like a bit of work for the uni, and he said, "Oh yeah, I heard the first bit pop. Thought, no, I'll hold on a little bit more." He goes, "Then it popped again, and I thought, no, I can't do this." But
I mean, I don't know. I hate that when fighters do that. I really do. Just like if you're gonna cause yourself a year-long injury, just get yourself out there. But that's that sort of pride and that passion that gets them to the top. Anyway, was that head
yeah,
kick?
that was it. So the actual proper fight footage is up. 'Cause I know they Facebook lived a few of their fights,
Right.
but this is looking like it's the properly recorded stuff. So
Look alright, by the way.
go and check out Olympus FC 2, Aaron Bell versus Michael Stewart.
So you
watch the
don't
whole
just plug me
fight.
into the cage around here.
Here we go. This left foot coming up now.
I mean, the lad's leaning into him.
Yeah.
Don't know why he's doing that. I don't know what the lad was doing, but that's punishment.
Yeah. Good stop as well by Phil DeFries to get in there before.
Did you see Frank Trigg was refereeing on the weekend?
No?
Yeah, I think more. Former UFC fighter, fought like Matt Hughes and people like that. He was refereeing at the weekend.
Aye.
At UFC, and I think more and more transitions there are between fighting and referees is better for the sport. I really do.
Yeah, because especially Phil being in there, I know Phil's like
knows what to look for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He knows when you're hurt, when you're not, and I think they've got that second sense. And I think Trev's brilliant with that.
Yeah.
No one went to let fights go and went to call it quits. Like.
Aye. There's the level of refereeing at the UFC. Do you think?
I think it's
everybody makes mistakes, but
Herb's been slipping up recently.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Herb's been the best for years, though, man. I'm not going to criticise Herb. I think it's the highest level it's ever been, just because there's more understanding of the sport in general. Like you say, there's always going to be mistakes in any sort of refereeing in any sport. If you talk about football and that, you know.
Both Newcastle fans, both seen our fair share of.
I've seen my
mistakes.
fair share of awful refereeing this year. Honestly, though, it's that. By the way, Premier League standard refereeing at the minute is probably the worst that it's ever been.
Do you think?
I've never. I know I'm probably biased towards my team because everyone is, but the amount of decisions that I just can't see how you've possibly got to that conclusion at the minute is just through the roof.
Yeah, I know like a couple of the referees, like personally, Premier League lads, and like
Well, tell them to sort their lives out.
It's a funny one though when you talk to them, where it's, if you bring in the video referee, and how much video refereeing do you bring in?
There's balance, isn't
to
there?
what extent is it?
Like, you're not going to do it for throw-ins and stuff
No,
like that.
like it's going to end up like the NFL almost every because it's like that reset sort of, and it stretches the game out for me longer than it should.
You only get a certain amount of challenges though if you're wrong though, don't you?
Yeah.
But for penalties and stuff like that, handballs, massive decisions. I think if you go to the video referee, even if it adds on a minute, I think it's going to help the sport massively.
Yeah.
I think that's the next level. I think that's the next way forward. Bundesliga are doing it at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, I want to say that the Premier League are trialling it next year.
I hope so. Well, we're not going to be in it, so...
There, I know it's a Fight and Talk podcast, but we'll cover everything. How do you see that Newcastle season ending up this year?
If we don't get bought, I think we're going down. I really do.
Aye.
We just haven't got the players. The squad's there. The squad mentality and people like that. By the way, last 6 games, you've realised how good Jamal Lascelles is.
Yeah.
When he's been out, and we've just looked absolutely awful at the back.
Made for the Cage fan as well, Jamal Lascelles.
He's been down, hasn't he? Big Jamal. I love... shout out Jamal Lascelles.
Aye.
I love Jamal, man.
Even that in terms of the sort of growth of the sport. Like having them lads down. I know John O'Shea was down, Jermaine Defoe was down, Pickford before he moved. We had Ricky off Geordie Shore there as well, a couple of shows ago.
A regular Ricky.
But no, like, that must be even nice to see that it's getting to that celebrity. From
a lad who's been there since Made for the Cage 15, and whose first show was... I'm going to have to look this up. And try and look this up. But it was early doors. Because Tom Webster's my mate from school, like childhood friend, one of my best mates, and he's only ever fought on Made for the Cage, really. He's Made for the Cage 7 against Wade Bass. So that shows how old I am. Mind you, that's only 4 years ago when you say that. So we've packed a lot of shows into a short period of time. But seeing the sport grow from that to the level it is now, where it's achieving mainstream and we're achieving more and more recognition.
Yeah,
it's the most rewarding thing in the world. Like, especially, honestly though, I'm horrendous for social media, because if we get 200 comments about how good the show was, and then one comment, which is about the ratio at the minute, I'm not gonna lie, about how, like, there's things that could be improved. Yeah,
or touching on coverage,
something like that. Which I understand. I do understand it, but if there's one that I don't negative comment,
that's all you'll feel.
That's all I'll think about all weekend. It ruined my weekend. That really did.
What, that one?
100%.
Yeah.
It stuck with us. It really did. But that's part of improving. That's part of learning, and we'll not make that mistake again. And so next time there's going to be 201 compliments, and no negative, hopefully.
Yeah, it's what we hope for, isn't it? It's touching back on that referees. Hang on, we've got the article up here. Premier League referees. They're still undecided, no, so they're not bringing in.
Although I don't get why not. I get it's controversy, and that's probably why they're doing it. To be honest, because of controversy, and that's probably what the Premier League's built on over the years.
But it's known for being such a quick league as well. That you think if you bring it in, slows the league down.
But it's not though, because you're only getting sort of. But even with injury time and that, you're just adding on.
Yeah, I suppose so. So just have
you're still keeping it on.
Chuck it on.
I get what you're saying about the tempo of the game and stuff like that, though. Do you think it'll ever happen in MMA? It's hard though, innit?
Honestly, I think the refereeing standard in MMA is good enough that it wouldn't need
to
be brought in. The odd things like I want to say it was this week I read something about a fighter biting another fighter, like stuff like that.
It's a rare one though, isn't it?
Yeah, you're not going to see that every event you're at, and they're fighting. So at the end of the day, there's not a lot.
Exactly.
You know what's allowed, you know what's not. Do you bring it in for the likes of 3-point contact, dropping a knee on somebody?
Well, with the likes of the one that comes to mind is the Dustin Poirier versus Eddie Alvarez fight, which, if you look back at that, it was quite obvious what the decision was, but at the time It's that split decision, Herb Dean. For stuff like that, I don't know why they don't do it already, because it's a 2-second thing.
Yeah.
And it's after the fight anyway, so why are you not going to look at it just quickly before the decision, and then you can make your mind up. But again, that's the authenticity of the sport and the grassroots level type of thing coming through. So
the only thing with MMA as well, with that sort of side of things as well, if it's fighting, you're going to keep striking until the ref steps in.
Yeah.
So what do the ref step in and say, oh, hang on, I need to check a decision? And the kid's then took another 3 punches he shouldn't have took, or...
I think that's a spur of the moment thing, but when it ends the fight like the Poirier fight,
yeah,
I think I don't think there's any harm in going to the replay booth. But like you say, for them situations that you're describing, nah, just let it run.
Yeah.
You've got to. You can't stop a fight mid-stoppage because something might have gone wrong, and then look back and it wasn't wrong, and then you've stopped the fight incorrectly, or you've kept the fight going incorrectly, type of thing. So it's a difficult one, like, it really is. But it's all progress, and it's good to be talking about stuff. The fact that we're not talking about weight classes anymore, or steroids and things like that, it's massive progress, and it makes it proud, really does, to have been a small tiny little part of that universe.
Yeah, it's mental just to be part of that. Like when you look at, like I say, obviously James at the minute, the UFC, I think he's just one of many over the next couple of years, and you're thinking, like, we've seen these lads at grassroots,
literally from boys to men.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it's class. You look at Bama card. I'm so excited for the Bama card, just because that level of that stage. If we had the sort of investment that I know Steve and Dale are looking for, then I'd love to put shows like this on all the time, man. I really would. If we can do a cross promotion with them next year, that'd be the dream. With
Bama, a Bama made for the kids promotion.
I mean, there's been rumours for years about it, like, but if we can get it done, I know Dale's. I can't speak too much about it, like, but I know it's been a dream of the promotions.
Yeah.
For years. So if we can finally get it done in 2018, that would be a dream, especially with them coming back to the Northeast twice.
Yeah. There's UFC London confirmed as well. How do you think that's shaping up? I
haven't had a look at the card, to be honest. I saw that Brett Johns wants Honest this morning. Godbeer's on it.
Yeah.
I like Godbeer, man. He needs to fight James though.
What did you make of his stoppage at UFC, whatever it was?
Say, without beating him, it looked controversial. But from reading and talking to people who do know Mark, he's not that type of lad. So I don't think there was anything untoward towards it, to be honest.
Another huge name on there. Man, we mentioned earlier, Paul Craig.
He's a fighter. He's a character as well. That gym, I don't know what they're producing. It's just comedy club up there. Like it's so funny.
Comedy killers as well.
Comedy killers are them killer clown things. That are probably that's what they are. I'll tell you. Aye, Braveheart though again.
Yeah.
If you're talking about marketing, what do people outside of Scotland know Scotland for?
Aye. Mel
Gibson doing that speech. What are you going to mark yourself on? That's just brilliant, man. It's so simple though, but it's brilliant. And it's I don't want to say it's gotten where it is, but it certainly adds to his appeal.
Yeah, 100%.
And you look at is Jimmy Manu on?
Yeah, Jimmy Manu is on there as well.
Who's he fighting?
I don't think he put some out on Twitter the other day about who do people want to see his fights. I don't think it's been matched yet. Potentially time for.
He might be the biggest draw in UK at the minute, apart from Brisbane.
I was just about to touch on that. Could it be the end for Brisbane UFC London? Do you think it's time?
I hope so. Just want to see him go out on a high, and I don't want to see him. The last card against Gaslam was sad to watch, like it really was. And Brisbane's my hero, really is.
Yeah.
In terms of British MMA, there's no one done more for the sport than him. I hope so.
Who would you want to see him go out against? Have you got?
Bring up the middleweight rankings. I've had a fight. I can't remember who it was. But there's some killers in this middleweight division, by the way.
Yeah, no.
I didn't fancy him against Gaslam though.
Nah.
Gaslam's one of them underrated fighters.
Yeah,
he's quality.
I know we're loading up the middleweights here, but in terms of your welterweights, Darren Till, what you making to him is
He's going to be the best. He's 100%.
Of the God almost.
100%. He's going to be the best. Who beats him in that top 15?
Yeah.
Wonderboy, because of the styles. The Woodley fight, I can't say that going well for Woodley.
Nah. I'm gutted Kamaru Usman's been pulled, by the way.
That would be a good fight. He would be weirdly maybe his toughest test in the top 15 because of his athleticism.
He's so underrated as well, by the way.
Yeah, he's a monster. Ain't nobody beating Kobe at the minute though until somebody knocks Kobe out.
Yeah.
What do you make of him?
Well, whether it be with a boomerang or not, it's I don't know.
I mean, he took that hit well.
Yeah.
That's a heavyweight launching a boomerang at your head and he didn't flinch. Right. So he must have a chin on him. I think he'd be a tough fight. Looking at that, middleweight division. Who do I want him? I don't want to see him against Paulo Costa.
No.
Have you seen him?
No. Oh, is that the kid who...
It's the kid who looks like he's created in a lab.
Johnny Hendricks got starts off. Yeah. Yeah, he's... Yeah.
Lyoto's a great fight. Lyoto Bisping. I'd like to say something like that.
I know it's fighting, it's one punch, but I'd love... It's got to be a fight he wins, do you know what I mean? Like, for his legacy and everything.
I think he would. I think he would beat Machida. Jotko doesn't want to fight him. Belfort would be a good fight.
Yeah. We do.
And
Uriah Hall's not a big enough draw, I don't think.
Oh.
Now, Uriah Hall.
I wouldn't want to put him against that. You get knocked out.
His knockout on the Ultimate Fighter is...
I don't want Bisping anywhere near a lad who can do anything like that. Hence why I don't want him against Silva. Hence why I don't want him against Brunson. And that top 6 is just murderers row, like
stacked, isn't it?
Whittaker, Sipier. I'm not even looking at Sipier. Sipier's out of that though.
Yeah, Sipier's gone. So without Sipier, you've got 1 Whittaker, 2 Romero, 3 Rockhold, 4 Souza, and 5 Weidman.
And 6 Gosling. The fact that he's down to 7 a matter of months away from being champion shows how good that division is. It's
the rankings mean nothing though, really, do they, when you look at it in terms of...
There's controversy over this.
In terms of who should get title shots, who should not.
There's controversy over this because I want to implement a ranking system for Made for the Cage, but because they're so sparse and we might not get the same fighters on consistently, it's so hard to do. But like I say, it is just opinion, and people are going to get annoyed about it relentlessly. It gives fans something to look at in terms of context, and it provides context for how good these lads are. But aside from that, the fact that Souza is ahead of Weidman, who's former champion, I think is ridiculous. But that's what the rankings are. And the fact that Glover Teixeira's still in the top 3 for light heavyweight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some killers in there. Mauricio is number 6 still.
OSB 5.
OSB's back on the rise though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 2-3 win streak now.
But Cain Velasquez is the number 1 contender in the heavyweight division. But he's number 4 on there.
If Ngannou beats Miocic, does Velasquez beat Ngannou?
I think that's the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. That
Velasquez
doesn't include
Ngannou.
Brock Lesnar.
Aye.
100%. No matter who wins, I think if Miocic beats Ngannou, then we've got a superstar on our hands in Miocic, like all-time superstar. I'm talking as well.
Yeah.
And then if he fights Cain, I mean that's just skins crawling just thinking about
it's mental,
that.
isn't it?
But like you say, it's all opinion, so all it should be looked at as well. Fight Matrix do a good job though. If you bring up Fight Matrix, they have a point system.
All right.
Which is I think that's better. So I like to say go on fightmatrix.com. They where I get all my UK rankings from, because they do territories as well.
Yeah.
So if you look at it's good to look at, by the way. Go I'm trying to think what's
if you move your mic, your mouse, sorry, you should be able to get
sound. Right, let's have a look. So name a good division in UK MMA. Your welterweight, your welterweight, because that's killers. Go to region and country, and then you can see United Kingdom. So you can see, and then that's, like I say, it's a points-based system. So then you can see these lads who are that'd be good for your writing actually.
Yeah.
In general, because then that provides context. Because then that was how I wanted to sell John Maguire when he fought Colin, because maybe he's not known to the Northeast as well. So former UFC fighter ranked this in the country, and it just immediately gives that. By the way, Chris Thurgle's still ranked 14th. He hasn't fought since 2016. That's how good that man is.
Lewis Long, number 9. See his head kick. Well, the head kick he received.
Try to catch it. That head kick was a weakness for him against Scopey as well. Yeah. I've got a story about Scopey if you want it.
Alright.
So, I don't know if this is like PG or not, but
that's whatever.
But
it's not doing well enough to get monetized yet, so you're alright.
So he's the best fight I've ever seen Ryan Scope do wasn't in a cage.
Alright.
It was I was 13 years old. I was in year 9, and Scopey's king of the school essentially. I went to the same school as him.
Scopey older than you? Or?
Yeah, he's 2 years older than me. We knew him through a mate of mine.
Alright.
And basically he was doing his MMA back then. So basically he's running the school like. So we used to like just follow him around. He used to get like the same bus stop as me because he's a Washington boy. And I'm from Euston in Chelsea Street. So there was these 2 chavs anyway. So I wanted to kick up a fuss with the lasses that were down there.
Alright.
Because of some of our mates, and obviously Scotty was at the bus stop. So these 2 chavs come walking over and start like talking to the girls and that. Obviously it's not nice. It's not amicable at all. It's typical Pelton chav speak type thing. And and Scotty just stood up, right? And we're on the bus at this point, right? So the bus hasn't left. We're sitting at the back of the bus and we're just watching out the window. And Scotty just stands up, and you just know it's not going to go well. Like, so he decks a pair of them.
All right.
Just off the bat, and then they go, right, we're going to get weapons. So I'm going, right, bus driver, get us out of here right now. I'm 13 at the time. I'm skitting. And then they came back. Scopey's on the bus now, with covered in blood from them, not his.
Alright.
With bricks, and bear in mind there's other passengers on this bus. Scopey's at the back in the middle, and they start launching bricks and stuff like that near him. And we're off by this point. This is what I've been told. Thank God our bus driver had the sense to get out of there, like, but his bus driver didn't, so he's sitting in the back. Bus driver lets them on, opens the door, just stupid idiot, man. So they start launching bricks. Scobie gets off the bus, decks them both again. So we hear this story the next day. You're expecting Scope to have like black eye, busted lip. You would have thought the lad had been on like a movie shoot the day before. Like, he just like came in not a scrape on him. And just was like, oh, do you have a good night last night? It was eventful, like, but that's Ryan Scope, like, just hard as nails.
Aye, and I think the next big thing.
I think so. If who's their champion at the minute? Thomas. It'll be lightweight. I don't know if they've got one at the minute.
No, that I want to see it done.
I think it might be vacant. Martin Stapleton versus Ryan Scott would be a top fight. That's recent, I think.
Alex Lahore is a killer as well, by the way.
He's welterweight. I'm saying if I was Scope though, because Scope fought long at welterweight.
Yeah.
I would tell Ryan not to go back there unless there's a big money fight. Where's that though? He's fighting on Cage Warriors. I don't think they have.
I think that must be vacant now.
I think it is. So I don't know that though. Anthony Dizzy, that's the lad Connor's fighting.
Yeah.
Collins fighting now. So if Stapleton does fight, if he still does have a title, that's a huge fight. But I think that'll be the fight for Ryan after this. I think it'll be a title fight, whether it's Stapleton or vacant. I really do.
Aye.
I can't see many people in the UK rankings beating him. Really can't.
To be fair, not.
He's a different class. And he has been since he was about 16 years old.
Fighting kids at bus stops.
Knocking out chavs at bus stops.
Right then, Ben, and on that, if you want to plug yourself, plug your Twitter, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, just Ben Holden on Facebook and at Ben Holden M4TC on Twitter. Yeah, give us a follow and I'll be doing updates from Bama on Friday. If you like us talking rubbish on camera, I might get back on here.
And that'll wrap up episode 2 of Fighting Talk.
Fight your family onward.
No bother at all, mate. Couple of weeks break just over Christmas, and then we, I think, are back with Craig Johns from the Chronicle on the 10th, and then Jamie Stevenson on the 17th.
Definitely watch both of them, 2 top blokes.